Welcome, everyone. My name is David Howard, and on behalf of the TJAAG Alumni Action Group and the Fairfax County Chapter of the NAACP, I want to thank you for joining us for our Commonwealth series, HBCUs Beyond the Yard. Today, I have the immense honor of highlighting what I feel like is one of the best institutions of higher education for anyone, that being the illustrious Morehouse College. Just to give a little background of what's going to happen today, we're going to have a walkthrough with a college representative, that being Michael Gunn, followed by a student representative speaking on their experience at Morehouse College, followed by a Q&A portion by our moderator, Sujata Hampton. And then if there's time, we will definitely have an opportunity for people in the audience to ask any questions. With that said, I would like to introduce Michael Gunn. Michael Gunn was born in the Windy City of Chicago, Illinois. He's a graduate of Morehouse College and is a member of the class of 2010. Mike has been in higher education for 10 years. He received his master's degree from Clark Atlanta University in the field of sociology, where he was inducted into the Alpha Kappa Delta Honor Society. Michael currently serves as an assistant director of admissions for the college, with a concentration in alumni engagement and recruitment. Without further ado, I'd like to give it away to Michael Gunn.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on this platform. I am just elated to be in front of you. As mentioned, my name is Michael Gunn. I serve as Assistant Director of Admissions for Morehouse College. I'm a proud member of the class of 2010. Being a member of the class of 2010, I have a twin brother that graduated Morehouse College with me and an older brother who's class of 2004. Both my brothers are in education as I am, and we absolutely love the opportunity to not only say that we're scholars, but to also say that we're Morehouse men. So we share that brotherhood and we share that bond of being Morehouse men. As a part of the focus of today, my goal is to present Morehouse to you, and from there to give you all the nuts and bolts of the college atmosphere as it pertains to Morehouse College. I learned at Morehouse that the tragedy lies not in reaching your goal, the tragedy lies in having no goals to reach for. Not failure, but low aim is sin. So I ask you to aim high. I want you to think outside the box. And coming into Morehouse is this place, this sacred place of building brotherhood, of uniting guys with a sense of mission and purpose. So to get started, I'm going to share my screen here and go through a quick presentation for you all. So we'll say from the beginning. And what I want to do is just allow you all to kind of go through Morehouse with me. One of the biggest aspects I learned about the college is that we want to ensure that there are opportunities for you to look at this college, not as just a place of just learning, right? But also as a place of leadership. Because when you walk into Morehouse College, you are born to be a leader. You are branded to be a leader. You are molded into leadership. We like to say at Morehouse, you will define yourself so that then you can redefine the world. And so we take that very, very seriously. Again, we are going to help you define yourself so that you can then redefine the world. Okay. So I want to get started with this amazing video of our college and what it really represents in coming to Morehouse. So I'm going to share this video with you.
Where will you be when the smoke clears? When we know for a fact that now all we have is each other, my brother, where will you be? Because I may need you when this transformation begins to feel like a mirage on the way to our oasis. I may need you, brother, to correct me, to adjust me, to hold me up. When our families have given us to the house, when we are finally embraced as sons and not culprits, I pray you are right beside me, brother. I pray that when the moon begins to fade, we are together. Because there is a ring that will sound for me, louder than any roar, and I may need you, brother, to remind me of my main.
For whom does the bell toll? It tolls for thee.
The heart of a man is just as delicate as the ribcage protecting it. But in unison, the might is unchallenged. Introduce me to your ribcage, brother. Show me how her bend and your beat complement each other. What pact have you two formed? Was it fleeting, or did it begin before you even met? The mind of a man is just as hard as the skull protecting it. But in unison, the softness of acceptance could crumble a mountain. Who would think that putting a tiger, a jaguar, and a panther in a cage only causes peace and affection and the type of love that is lacked by so many creatures of our domain? So my brother, I thank you. From the moment when you were a Rorschach to the moment when you became a Picasso, lively and vivid in my eyes. Progression for us is inevitable, but take my hand and let's take these steps together.
Because I am destined for greatness.
All right. Okay. So, Morehouse College, who are we? We're the nation's only historically Black private liberal arts college for men. We're a member of the Atlanta University Center, also known as the Atlanta University Consortium, basically a fancy word for a group of institutions that are literally on one campus, right? And so even though Morehouse makes up 66 acres of land, you'll find that Spelman College and Clark Atlanta University, the Morehouse School of Medicine, Morris Brown College, all these institutions fit in the same arena. And what's beautiful about that is this opportunity to cross-register. So you could be a student at Morehouse College, yet find yourself taking classes at Spelman College for free, or taking classes at Clark Atlanta University, where you could take graduate level courses on the undergraduate level. There are plenty of opportunities amongst the AUC, and that's what we call it, the AUC. Our mission at the college is to develop men with disciplined minds who would lead lives of leadership and service, to develop men with disciplined minds who would lead lives of leadership and service. We are located in the most amazing city that exists, known as the city of Atlanta, right? We're in the heart of the city. And what's beautiful about that is you have this opportunity to go to Lenox, to ride the MARTA station, to find yourself, in the mid area, midtown area. Everything is surrounded by you. And so when you come to the college, you have this opportunity to just seek opportunities outside of just the campus. And so, our area that we're in the historic West End area, an area that has started to change. We also in an amazing area where you kind of bump up against what would be the inner city of Atlanta. And so we're about maybe 7 minutes from downtown, or maybe about a 12 to 15 minute car ride to the airport named after Maynard Jackson Jr., who we'll talk a little bit about later. But Atlanta is such a vibrant city. It's a city that has just grown tremendously. And when you look at Black leadership, when you look at African-American and Black and brown individuals that have done astonishing, amazing things that are in high roles, it's really amazing because Atlanta provides that opportunity for a lot of our Black leadership. We have about 10.5 million Georgia residents, 5.9 million in the city, and over 8,000 plus amongst the AUC. So again, being in that city of Atlanta, Morehouse is a space and a place that a lot of people come to even when traveling to the city. We have about 2,300 students on campus, total student population, 17,500 living alumni, right? That's a lot of alums. And then we have over 1,500 on-campus residents. Due to COVID-19 pandemic, we had to divide that number by 3. And so 500 students were actually on the campus during the springtime, in which you'll hear from another student, a student's perspective. So why, the purpose of Morehouse is legacy, it's alumni, right? And so we know our alums are just phenomenal. We have, of course, Samuel Jackson, Spike Lee, the list goes on, right? Howard Thurman, who said that Morehouse holds a crown above our heads in hopes that we be here 48, right? You have Spike Lee, as mentioned. So there's just astonishing leaders, right? Maynard Jackson, the first African-American mayor of the city of Atlanta, he brought the 1996 Olympics to Morehouse College. The list goes on. We have prominent alumni, Kevin Ross, Jamal Simmons, PJ Morton, Bakari Sellers. Denzel Washington's son's a graduate of Morehouse College as well. Cedric Richmond, who is a U.S. representative for Louisiana and just took on a role working in the Biden administration. So there's, again, tons of opportunity of leadership. And then, of course, we fast forward and we can look at Randall Woodfin, who is a graduate of Morehouse College and the current mayor of the city of Birmingham, Alabama. Morehouse brings a lot of traction. So Netflix has donated money to Morehouse College in a connection with Michael Lomax, who is the president of UNCF, who is a graduate of Morehouse College. We've had Amazon has donated millions, or the ex-wife of Amazon has donated millions to us, and we're thankful for that. And then Oprah Winfrey, who has been given to the college since the early 90s. She recently in 2019 donated $13 million in addition to what she already has given. This has given students an opportunity to really come through Morehouse. So that brings us to our, opportunities. And so study abroad is a big thing on our college. Being well-read, well-spoken, well-balanced, well-traveled, and well-dressed, the 5 wells of a Morehouse man. And then well-written was later added. The idea is that we're trying to make a Renaissance man with a social conscience. With that, you'll find that it's bigger than just being in the borders of the US, but really going outside our current understanding of life allows us to be able to bring in new thoughts, new ideas, to be more creative, to see how business is done externally. And so for us, I wouldn't say it's a requirement that you study abroad, but it's highly pushed that you have the opportunity to get beyond just your current everyday life, right? And so for us, life happens in our residential homes too, right? 3 years living requirement, 86% first year retention rate, 12 residential halls on campus. I stayed in Whitehall, so I have a lot of spirit amongst my freshman house, or what used to be called the dorms on campus. Hubert Hall, Du Bois Hall, LLC, right? You'll find those. And then there's the distinguished Graves Hall, which is the building you see behind my platform here. Graves Hall is the freshman honors dorm, and it holds a long legacy in honor of Samuel T. Graves, who was the first president of Morehouse College. We have so many different historical reference points, but one of the biggest things is don't sleep on us on athletics either. We're Division II SIAC. We play basketball, football, baseball, track, cross country, golf, tennis. To add some really cool, interesting aspects to our college, we have a rugby team. We have a freshman that started a fencing team. It's just really amazing. So if you have an organization or a program that you want to bring to Morehouse, we encourage that. We have over 100 programs that you can become involved in. For us, our students are student leaders. And so having 3 to 4 internships upon graduating is not a new concept. It's all about building yourself and branding yourself and getting out there. And because of the living alumni that we have, they're constantly looking for opportunity for students. They're always giving back. And so it's just an amazing arena. You of course have to fall in lines of our division's expectations for general requirements and make sure that you fall in those gaps. But you can play sports at Morehouse and do it exceedingly well. We have an amazing debate team too. You'll hear about Crown Forum. Crown Forum is this amazing class that's expected that students will come in, right? and not only graduate, but there's a class designated to help you mold to be that leader. How can we just put this amount of pressure on you and say, come to Morehouse without having the individuals that are there for you or the one-to-one base that can help you become the leader you are to be? And so Howard Thurman charged us a long time ago, class of 1923 from Morehouse, famous theologian. He said that Morehouse holds a crown above our heads in hopes that we grow tall enough to wear it. So there are high expectations at Morehouse College. The expectation is that you're going to come in, you're going to graduate, you're going to do exceedingly well, but it's also expected that you will come into Morehouse and you're going to learn and that you'll never stop. And so because of that is that we have virtually where you have distinguished individuals such as Michael Laird Dyson that will get the opportunity to speak to you and to then give you Morehouse College in their own way. And we've had past presidents that have presented to Morehouse students. And so again, it is really, really amazing about the opportunities of coming into this college. We are the #1 producer of Black male Rhodes Scholars. We're the #1 feeder school of Black men entering Harvard Business School and Harvard Law School. And we're the #1 producer of Black men who go on to earn their doctoral degrees. Amazing. We offer 33 divisions in 7 divisions in 33 majors. And one of the most amazing things about us is we are a 4-year private liberal arts institution, which means we're going to give you a little bit of everything. Like you're going to dabble in math, you're going to dabble in philosophy as a requirement, right? Core classes. But then you select your major. And gosh, the majors are endless, right? You have engineering, where you'll graduate with 2 degrees in 5 years. I'll go into that a little bit. We have a CTEMS program, and so I'll get into that. That stands for Cinema, Television, Emerging Media Studies. We have a business program that is just top notch, and so you'll learn about that as well. But again, our programs are just dynamite. Again, we're a feeder school for those top graduate schools. So it's nothing to hear that, oh yeah, he came into Morehouse and he came into Morehouse, and maybe he came in with a 2.5 and maybe he came in with a 3.5, but you'll find that both individuals will graduate Morehouse and find themselves going to Harvard or find themselves going to Princeton. That's nothing new for us. And to be surrounded by African-American men who have that same kind of mission and purpose, it is truly astonishing. Our CTEMS program is known as Cinema, Television, Emerging Media Studies. I was long gone. I wouldn't say long. I was gone away from the college before this program came out. This program came out in 2012. And when it came out, the idea behind it was they wanted an opportunity for students to learn all of the background information that comes from being in the media facet world, right? And so when you talk about putting on production, what does that look like? Well, the whole idea was to have a program organized as such. As many of you know, Spike Lee is a graduate of Morehouse College. However, he took a lot of his classes at Clark Atlanta University. Well, what we wanted was the program to be housed at Morehouse, a program where students, no matter what major they're in, no matter where their interest lies, if they have a specialty or a focus to want to do film, they can do it at Morehouse. And so we've had speakers like Jordan Peele back in 2018 who have came to speak to students at Morehouse. The whole cast and group that helped put on Black Panther came and demonstrated and showed students how they can go about creating films such as that, right? We had students that had the opportunity to go to Sundance Film Festival. So the arts is a big thing. It's a big thing in Atlanta, but it's also a big thing at Morehouse College. And I definitely want to make mention that just because Morehouse doesn't have the major that you see right now, doesn't mean you should not come to Morehouse, because for us, it's about first finding that core focus in what you're interested in, and then mapping out a plan of how you're going to do and get to where you want to go. So I tell students, figure out your major, but create a career, okay? Very important. Our dual degree engineering program, you do 3 years at Morehouse, 2 years at engineering school of your choice. This program has been around for years and has been able to produce some of the best engineers across the country. Some of those engineers you might find is Sidney Moody. Sidney Moody graduated Morehouse College, and his father is actually a Morehouse man as well. One of the amazing things about him is he constructed the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. He's also constructed the Turner baseball field. I mean, just infrastructure that is just amazing. And so you have that opportunity that you can do the same. And, you know, they set the foundation. So if you're interested in engineering, don't sleep on Morehouse. Our business program is top notch as well. About a good 40% of our students who major in business actually get the opportunity to study abroad and actually take that opportunity on. I could take this home because my cousin who graduated Morehouse College currently works in New York. He actually came into Morehouse, majored in business, and studied with over 8 different countries while being a student at Morehouse College. And so Hamilton definitely did what he needed to do and just took that opportunity very serious. He also served as the president of the Morehouse Business Association at one point. So he's done some amazing things. And so when I look at leaders, again, we will help you mold to become that. But the business arena, I mean, they come to our campus to recruit. They come to our campus to see you, okay? And so when you talk about the Fortune 500 companies, they're constantly surrounding us. When you talk about business opportunities such as Yale's Business School or Harvard Business School, you know, they come to Morehouse because they know Morehouse, right? We are a very research-based institution, very, very focused in research. So you definitely want to know that. So what does it take to get into Morehouse? Your very best. The average student will have at least a 3.4 GPA. They're going to take at least 4 AP courses and the test scores as such. However, due to COVID-19 and the pandemic, we have subsided and started to look at other ways to evaluate a student outside of test scores. And so we have gone test optional for that class, which is the incoming class. For that reason, we have looked at the GPA a little bit harder, and we looked at AP courses and saw dual enrollment and looked at essays, and we looked at letters of recommendation that really speak to a student's performance. Because again, for us, it's about seeing the totality of a student and not just looking at it one way. Because just because a student has a 3.4 doesn't mean that they're ready for Morehouse, and it doesn't say that a student who has a 2.2 is not ready for Morehouse. They just might need better preparation, in which we have a pre-freshman summer program that's available for them. There's, again, many opportunities of attending Morehouse. Some will argue we've been ranked as one of the most affordable institutions, and some have argued that, we cost a lot. The truth is, this is our price. I tell students, how are you going to pay for it, right? And a leader, they come in not looking at the price, but they look at what are you going to get out of the outcome, and then how are you going to build to make this work for you. And so for us, we offer scholarships, we offer merit-based scholarships, but at the same time, there are external scholarships available for your disposal. And it's important that you all take advantage of this opportunity. FAFSA is huge, so make sure you have your financial aid together. Make sure that we have a scholarship portal for our current students. This allows them to actually be able to log in and to see what scholarships are applicable to their account. We send out information about, because again, we care. So without further ado, this is my information. You can definitely, Snapchat it, bring out your phone, take a picture. I'll put my information in the chat as well. But I want to make sure that you all understand the complexity of a Morehouse College and the kind of leadership that we have. For us, it's about building a brand. It's about building a leadership. It's about really taking on that opportunity. And so I want to definitely ascertain any questions. But before I do that, I want to leave you guys with this. One of the biggest aspects I learned at Morehouse is to let your work be so impressive that the committee of selection will be compelled to examine your credentials. May you forever stand for something noble and high. Let no man dismiss you with a wave of the hand or a shrug of the shoulder. And so for us, it's all about excellence. It's all about perseverance. It's all about knowing who you are before you come into Morehouse. And so build yourself, build your brand, and do extremely and exceedingly well. I'm in your corner, and I'm here to help. At this time, I would like to introduce an amazing student by the name of Dalen Land. Dalen is a football player who currently got accepted into Morehouse College by yours truly. I take a lot of pride in Dalen because Dalen works extremely hard. He himself can tell you what he's done to get accepted into Morehouse, how he's just kind of paved the way in terms of leadership. And guys, what's really amazing about Dalen is that work doesn't come easy for him, but he's been able to show through all facets, what does it look like to be able to balance your time well? And we speak to balance very seriously. And so Dalen, I'm super proud of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for, the call. Well, not fast, you just ran, man. And I appreciate that so much. So without further ado, our new freshman, man, I would say freshman of the year, the man who's the man with the plan, right? Right. Dalen, I turn it over to you, bro.
Yes, sir. Again, thank you for the opportunity, being able to be a part of this panel. My name is Dalen Land. I'm a freshman finance major from Little Rock, Arkansas. Just kind of tell you a little bit about me. In high school, I wasn't the ideal student. I did have growing pains. I wasn't that 4.0 student every year, 9 through 12. I did have some things that I needed to improve on, but it's about having grit, really. Me being a part of, I played football in high school. That took a lot of my time. So, I had to make sure that whenever I needed to get something done, I had to plan it and manage my time well as far as getting to Morehouse. It's all about being around the right people. I have amazing parents. They pushed me to make sure I was on my stuff. Amazing friends. Being at Morehouse, just this semester, it's been a challenge, especially with COVID. It's been a challenge. The first semester we was online. So, being online and being at home in that environment is easy. It's easy to get lazy. But, Morehouse, it's a brotherhood. It's amazing to me because, that first semester, it was crazy with us being online, but it was so easy for us to come together and as brothers and get work done. Like we had projects and things like that. It was easy to call up my one of my best friends, his name Cal, call him up, say, hey, Cal live in Georgia actually. Call him up, say, hey, did you look over the English project? You know what I'm saying? It's the little stuff that makes a difference. And that's just something that I wasn't used to in high school, because in high school it's a melting pot. But coming to Morehouse, I felt that brotherhood the first day we went to class, just with discussions. I feel like I could be myself. I could say things that I usually wouldn't say in high school, but being in that class with the professors, with the teachers, it brings a different side out of you as a man and as a student. And just Morehouse, it's special. It's a special place. I'm on campus now. As you can see, I'm in my dorm, and just being able to see my brothers see my brothers in person, it's amazing because Morehouse, like I said, it's a melting pot. So I got a teammate since I'm actually on an athletic and academic scholarship. So I play football. So I have a teammate from Seattle. He a senior. So now I made that connection with him. So now I got somebody that's all the way on the West Coast. So if I need something, I got that Morehouse connection everywhere. It's really what I would say Morehouse sets apart from the other colleges is more over those that brotherhood and those connections that you make to be successful in life. I always say to myself, whenever it get tough, that like you come into Morehouse for a degree, but moreover, you come here to network. So that's the biggest thing about Morehouse. You're gonna network. They're gonna put you in place to make sure you're successful. If you come out of Morehouse and don't have some type of internship, some type of job opportunity, then it really moreover it was on yourself that you didn't want to be great, because Morehouse, they're gonna put the resources in your face to make sure that you could be the best man you could be to be successful. I mean, Morehouse, it's the best decision I made so far as far as my life, and I'm only a freshman. I'm not gonna lie, it's a challenge. It's a challenge, I'm not gonna say it's all peaches and cream and all. It's just like the best thing, but I know that since I've been here, I'm matured as a man. I've matured from making sure that if I have something done at 7 o'clock, I need to wake up and do it. You know what I mean? So that just Morehouse has really took me to the next level, especially being on campus by myself, away from my parents. And it's Atlanta, so you're gonna have distractions. You're gonna have things that you wouldn't see back home. I'm from Arkansas, so it's things around here that I'm not used to seeing. But I got to stay focused, and that's the biggest thing. I think being in Atlanta and being a man of Morehouse, it teaches you a lot of discipline. It teaches you to say, hey, I'm not gonna go to this party tonight. Let me just stay in and do my homework. That's really what's gonna set you apart from the rest of your co-workers, colleagues, anything like that in the future. So I mean, that's the biggest thing about Morehouse. And you know, if you're looking forward to Morehouse, keep me up. David Land is dland.41 on Instagram. But Mr. Gunn, I really appreciate you having me on here. And you know, like I said, Morehouse, it's the way to go, definitely.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
that was so great. It's wonderful to hear somebody who is enjoying himself this much. That's great. Before you get to me, David, I wanted to ask you to tell your Morehouse story too, to add to the story.
Thank you, Sujata. Well, very similar to Dalen, you know, I also believe that going to Morehouse was one of the best decisions that I could make. Just for a little context, I attended Morehouse from 2006 to 2011 after growing up in the Northern Virginia area. For me, it was really just the opportunity to be myself in a way that I had never been before I had the opportunity to attend Morehouse. I was shocked, really. There was a lot of culture shocks. It's funny, I can remember, just like Dalen said, you know, you're in Atlanta, there's a lot of distractions, but also recognizing that this was an area and a place that I had so much support from friends and friends that would become future colleagues or business partners, or even people who I never met. You know, this was an opportunity that I had met Black people from all over the country, all over the world. You know, it's not just people from America domestically. We had students from Brazil, from the Caribbean. We even had some students from Asia, I believe. So, you know, just being exposed to things that I honestly did not expect to have the experience with was something that really was a bonus to the experience I had, and really just ways that I was challenged. You know, I was challenged in my perceptions and what I thought I could do and what I could achieve. And having those experiences in an environment, in a place that really encouraged and nurtured me in a way that I had never been nurtured, even by my own family, you know, to have men that were actually supportive of me in that way and really just had their best intent and interest in me, you know, was something that I didn't even recognize that I so desperately needed before I really went back out into the world. And I think that's the thing that a lot of these HBCUs do. But when you have an environment like Morehouse, where every day you're seeing the same brothers and you guys are striving together, talking and planning your dreams together, and actually seeing them come to fruition, you know, it's an experience that I can't even equate into words. It's just something that you have to experience. So for anyone that is interested in going to Morehouse, you know, I always say wholeheartedly to go after it. You won't regret the decision. There will be challenges. It won't be easy. Nothing in life worth having is easy. So with that, you know, again, just like our two amazing speakers already did, I couldn't endorse Morehouse any higher. So, you know, just thank you for allowing me the opportunity to big up my school, as I always want to do.
Thank you for sharing that. I can introduce myself. You want me to introduce myself?
I think that would be great. So yeah.
What'd you say? I can do it?
I think that'd be great. Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Sujata Hampton. I am the education chair and third vice president of Fairfax County NAACP. And I'm really excited about this collaboration. I have learned so much every time we do one of these. I learn so much, and I'm just, you know, I'm awestruck by that great movie you just showed us, Michael. That was really, it just like, I had goosebumps. So, I mean, oh, it was just really great stuff. It says here, define yourself so that you can redefine the world, which is great. To connect me and adjust me, correct me and adjust me. Was that, what was that? Something like connect me, correct me. I don't remember. It was correct me and adjust me. It was really just, my skin was, I was getting like goosebumps. Really nice video. Really nice video. It seems like the whole ethos of the place is to make you a man and to make you the best version of yourself that you can possibly be, which is really great. Anyway, I have some questions that I'd like to ask. So Dalen, don't leave because there may be some for you. David, if you have something you wanted to chime in with, I would be happy to have that information as well. So I'm going to start at the top. I have a bunch of questions here. And whoever, you know, weigh in as you think it applies to you, okay? In the age of diversity and inclusion, what would you say would be the advantage of a young man attending an all-male institution like Morehouse?
That's an amazing question. I would charge that and take that to be, let's open up the language of diversity, right? Because we could say diversity in terms of race, we could say diversity in terms of where someone is from. You know, Dalen being from Arkansas is a totally different thing than me being a student from Chicago or somebody being from like LA. So what I would love to do is to definitely, David, I'm gonna pass it to you because I'm having some audio issues, I think. So I'm gonna pass it back to you and then I'm gonna come back in with that, okay?
Thank you very much, I appreciate that. Yeah, so the question is about an all-male institution. What is the benefit of that in this day and age?
The benefit of all-male institution in this age, definitely with the recent events going on as far as, I would say, police brutality, just everything as far as 2021, 2020, I think it's a safe space to really develop yourself into a man and get ready for what's to come in the real world, if that makes sense. I would say that, you know, you get to see yourself when you learn in class, you get to see yourself, how you identify yourself, how the world identifies you as a Black man, and how you can use that to your advantage when you're in the workspace, I guess you could say. So I would say that that's the biggest advantage of being in an all-male institution, especially just in these recent events.
So you think that actually being at this all-male institution is like, is it the support? It's that everybody there at this university is seeing?
It's the support, and it's that everybody at the university is on the same page. If you know what I'm saying, they are on the same page. We all going through the same struggles. You know, we're not saying we all agree on things, but at the end of the day, we're gonna come together and make an agreement to what's going on, and we all got each other backs.
I can understand that. No, that's good. David, do you have anything else you wanted to add to that answer?
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously, it's interesting because the question of diversity, I think, is even a fluid question in itself, because while there may be, as Dalen and Michael have already said, this commonality of gender or gender identity at Morehouse College, that is probably the last line of commonality that you'll see. You know, the diversity in everything. I remember, you know, and I'll put myself on blast, you know, there were certain things as a child, as a young adult, that I thought like, oh, Black people don't do that. Black men don't do that. But, you know, you'll go to Morehouse, I've seen guys that ski, guys, you know, he said we have a fencing team, we have a polo team. I've seen guys skateboard, and I was like, oh, brother, skateboard, that's different. You know, you meet the guys from out there from LA and the West Coast and everything, different musics. So, you know, and I think that's a great thing about going to an institution such as Morehouse. It makes you start to have those thoughts, have those conversations of what do I feel? What do I think? What do I believe? And
as an individual.
As an individual, exactly. You know, the one thing I told people that I appreciated the most about going to Morehouse, it was the first time I felt like I could just be David. Not David, a Black kid, not David, the athlete, not David, an AP honors kid, but it's like David, and he's from Virginia. Because, you know, you can't walk around campus and be like, hey, do you know David? You know, he's a light-skinned brother, like this tall. It's like, that's the whole campus. So it even challenges the way that you describe yourself, the way that you view yourself. And that's such a powerful thing that you don't even really think about until you're confronted with it. So, you know, I definitely feel like, wow, it may seem limiting in just Morehouse being a school for men. I feel like actually it helps you ask questions and confront things that you might not have the opportunity to do in the traditional academic setting.
It actually challenges the whole concept of diversity.
Exactly.
Like, that's interesting. Okay, you're back. Are you back? Is your sound good now, Michael?
I think so. We're gonna do a test
Sounds
1,
good.
2.
Sounds good. Yep.
Okay. Okay. No, those answers are perfect. I would just add that I was mentioning about diversity and the whole idea of unity. And I think that at Morehouse, what happens is you're around people who you think are like-minded, right? Who everybody's the same, right? And as David mentioned, you realize very quickly, man, I'm different. I'm different than this brother, and this brother's different than this brother. But what's interesting is, where you might not have been the majority, now you are, right? So you look to your left and you're like, wait a minute, this guy's like valedictorian. You look to your right and this guy was like a Gates Millennium Scholar. Then there's you. And you're like, wait, how did I get amongst this group, right? like did I, was I lucked out or something? Because I mean, it's amazing. But then you realize, you know what? Now I see why I'm a part of this, because I showed something that I offer, and I too deserve to be amongst this group. Then you start to have that leadership corral around you, and so you feel it. And so for me, it's the building, right? So I love the idea of a freshman coming in and then leaving Morehouse, and where they started to where they are now. It baffles parents, it baffles students, the staff and faculty. We all understand that there's a growing dynamic at Morehouse that you might have came in as a young boy, but by the time you graduate, you're a young man, and young man, the idea is you never stop learning, right? So you see that push. And so I absolutely love Morehouse for that. I mean, it's a breeding ground for leadership.
That's wonderful. That like line here that holds a crown above your head and hopes you grow tall enough to wear it. Just beautiful. Just really beautiful.
Great answer, Mr. Gunn. Great answer.
What'd you say, Dalen?
I said a great answer, Mr. Gunn.
Oh,
like
look.
Okay, I'm gonna move on. Otherwise, I'm not gonna be able to get all my questions. I have so many questions. Okay. As an institution nestled between two other HBCUs, what steps does Morehouse take to establish and demonstrate itself as a school of equal footing?
Yes. Repeat it one more time, because that's a great question.
As an institution nestled between two other HBCUs, what steps does Morehouse take to establish and demonstrate itself as a school of equal footing?
Ooh, David, go ahead, David. David, go ahead, sir. I'm gonna let you get in that, because I know.
It's funny because I put that question in specifically because, especially obviously the question I'm alluding to is there are two other great institutions, that being Spelman College and Clark Atlanta University. Spelman College being an all-women's institution and Clark Atlanta being a co-ed institution. So obviously there's a conversation of, all right, we have a co-ed school, we have an all-women's school. Why do we need an all-male institution? And I think the thing isn't the thing that we've really been demonstrating is just this community, this brotherhood. Clark Atlanta is a little bit of a larger institution, and it's a little bit, I would say almost more like a city college, where a lot of students aren't necessarily on campus. They kind of are throughout the city. And, it's more of I come in, I take my classes, I move around. There might be a few things on campus, and that's great. Spelman, obviously being an all-women's institution, there's a 50% divide of the student population that can actually attend the school. So for me, I think the biggest thing is that with Morehouse, they really take strides to build an insular community, not necessarily to shut anybody out, but to continue to grow and actually create the community at the school that you will then take out into the world. And I think that's the thing where, they pride themselves on just really creating an area where you learn to depend on one another, learn to continue to strive. And that's what really helps establish Morehouse, as opposed to these other two equally great institutions. Although, obviously I think mine is just better.
Exactly. I could say it even better.
You don't want to add anything? You don't want to add anything? What makes Morehouse special? You want to add?
Listen, I would say brotherhood. That's the one thing that I think it's amazing. You could say there's going to be 500 plus African-American men that are going to graduate each year. And that we have the largest number of Black men that will graduate.
I think your sound is still having some problems, your connectivity.
University. That says a whole lot, right? But I think that's one angle. I think one of the biggest. Well, Dalen, you jump in there, brother.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. You've got
Okay.
good sound.
Repeating the question.
The question was really just about, what does an institution nestled between two other HBCUs, what steps does Morehouse take to establish and demonstrate itself as a school of equal footing? So what's basically what's special about Morehouse? What makes it stand out in that community there?
What makes us stand out is the adversity and challenges that we face in the day-to-day going to Morehouse. Like I said, Morehouse, it's not going to be easy. The professor's not going to take, the professor's not just going to let you pass a class just because you're doing the work. You're going to have to be involved in discussion, so it's going to bring you out of your shell as far as maturing as a person and elevating yourself to think higher outside of yourself. So that's why I would say it separates you from Morehouse separates from Spelman and Clark. Now, Spelman is a great institution. Don't get me wrong, but me and the Morehouse, we gonna get it done too. You know what I mean?
I hear you. Okay, so I'm gonna ask this, and hopefully Michael's sound comes back so he can join us too with this. Some describe the Morehouse experience as being similar to the Greek pledging experience. Based on what you know about the Greek pledging experience, would you agree or disagree? I know that you're a freshman. I don't know if you're pledging anything, any fraternity, but if you can answer.
Okay, so you're saying, so actually, I can't speak on this because I haven't went through we got this thing called NSO, but with as far as COVID, I haven't been able to experience that. So I don't want to speak on something that I haven't experienced. So I'm going to pass this question to Mr. David. Mr. Howard, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine, Dylan. Well, I guess I can speak to both sides as someone who did go to Morehouse and actually did pledge a fraternity there at Morehouse. I was a spring 2009 initiate of the Pi chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi. Again, one of, I feel like the best organization at the best institution. So for me, it's really interesting because Morehouse, and it's a shame, Dalen, that you didn't get the NSO experience. Obviously, this year has been extenuating circumstances. I hope that next year they find a way to really incorporate that for your class and the new incoming class, because that really is NSO. Obviously, I can't give all the secrets away on this panel discussion of what it exactly incorporates, but it's the first step towards you really getting the understanding of the community and the brotherhood that you are entering into. And honestly, it's something that is so rare that I think a lot of individuals at other institutions actually go into Greek-led organizations or other organizations to try to get that similar experience. So to get it kind of in a double portion of not only being a member of the fraternity of Morehouse College, but also a member of a national fraternity, it's actually funny. I've had conversations with older members of my chapter who also have alluded to sometimes the issue that we also get a little bit of stereotype in a lot of AUC chapters of being a little different because we are so insular. And I think it's because having a community inside another community makes it even almost not unnecessary to actually reach out to people, but it's like, well, if I need something, like literally, if I need my car fixed, if I need to, God forbid, ever talk to a lawyer, if I ever need doctor recommendations, I don't need necessarily a full national network. I have a national network and then even a smaller national network. So, for me, it's just that fraternity mindset is something that I didn't recognize I was going to get so much of, but I'm so thankful I got it because it's come in handy for so many different reasons. I remember, and not to get too personal, my junior year, my father passed away and I had just finished crossing Kappa Alpha Psi. And I had so many people from my chapter, so many people from the school reach out to me. I had line brothers actually drive up to Virginia for my father's funeral. And we had homecoming literally the next week. So, and we just crossed. So like to have, you know, my line brothers and people of the chapter and people of the school come out during one of probably my darkest times during my undergraduate education was just a testament to me of what I was receiving and what I was doing this for, because obviously the education is key. You know, that you go to college to get an education, to get a degree. But what you get afterwards, I think, is really contingent on the decisions you make of the school that you choose and of the relationship that you make. And I couldn't even fathom by a decision I made of going to Morehouse how much my life would change. And I'm just, again, forever thankful for that.
I'm going to let you weigh in if you think you got your sound. I have a follow-up question I wanted to ask too,
Okay.
based on that.
1, 2.
It's a little weird.
Okay.
Can't really hear you, Michael. Okay, let me follow up with David with a question that and Dalen too, while we see whether Mr. Gunn can get his sound together. I just want to hear, like you were saying, both of you were saying how grateful you are that you made this decision, right? And all the benefits. And I know you're just a freshman, so it's like all of the, and also during COVID, which has been such a different experience than most people would have had. Most freshmen, you know, for my daughter is also a freshman right now at university. It's a totally different experience and it should be. But this decision that you made, what were the choices? What were the things that what were the competing ideas? What were the different universities and what made you choose Morehouse? How do you know, you're clearly both very happy that you did. What were you thinking about otherwise?
I can go first, and then Dalen, he can definitely chime in, just to kind of give a perspective of then and now. So for me, I just realized, especially growing up in the Northern Virginia area, my exposure to things and kind of the perceptions that I had on a lot of things, especially when it comes to my community and culture, it was very combative. You know, I think, you know, growing up in this area, you know, I had a lot of great relationships, a lot of great friendships, but there was always, you know, I didn't know the term at the time until much later, but, you know, I guess the term would be microaggressions. Then it's like, oh, that's what that was. Even I remember when I was applying to Morehouse, to this day, I always laugh about it because I'm like, you know, everyone's like, oh yeah, so you're going to like Morehead State. And I was like, I have no idea what this school is. And it happens quite often. But, you know, just even that, or even the perception that a lot of people had that at the time, HBCUs were not to the same level as, especially, you know, the fortunate opportunities that are available in state in Virginia. You know, Virginia is a great state to get an education. You know, we have a lot of great local institutions. So, you know, to explain to why would you go to a school potentially to spend more money, to, you know, not go to a bigger population that doesn't have these state funded facilities, these Division I sports teams and stadiums. But I still remember when I went to campus, it was probably the Thanksgiving holiday before I would have been a freshman. We had family down in Atlanta. And literally we were just walking around campus because, you know, I wanted to check it out because I was interested. And no one was there because it was the holiday, but there was one student, he actually was the freshman class president. He just saw us and he's like, hey, I want to come over and introduce myself, introduce himself to my mother and my stepfather, and then proceeded to give, unprompted, a tour of the school, you know, giving us the history, giving us the background on the different buildings. And I was just so amazed.
That's amazing.
This young man came up to me, right, came up to us just out of the kindness of his heart. I was just like, oh, you're checking it out? Do you want a tour? Do you want to learn about this? So after that, I was like, this is it. This is where I need to go. And again, it was just, that was the first instance to me where I felt like I wasn't just a number. I wasn't just a student. I was somebody that someone else cared of. I was somebody's brother. You know, as an only child, that was something I never really experienced. You know, having somebody just come out of their way in that manner to be like, I see you, I'm gonna take care of you. I don't even know you, but you look like me, I can relate to you, and I'm gonna take care of you. So, you know, that was
Michael wants to know if that was Marcus Edwards.
No, that wasn't Marcus. I'm trying to remember his name because he was the freshman class president, not SGA president.
Oh,
Marcus
he was freshman president.
Yeah. So this was like class of 2009's freshman class president. So I have to remember. I'll try to get that name for you, Michael. But Marcus Edwards was the SGA president at the time when we first started. So
yeah. That's all I was like, man. They were a different group right there. That was a dynamic group.
Yeah, it was.
You guys hear me okay? I'm trying to.
No, you're great now.
Now we can hear you great. Now we can hear you great. Dalen, why did you choose Morehouse?
So I'd like to piggyback off of Mr. Howard a little bit, because me being from Arkansas, I did hear Morehouse. I heard Morehouse University actually. It was crazy because my coach said that. He was like, they land going to Morehead University. I was like, it is, I try to fix it, but it was too late. But definitely piggyback off of Mr. Howard said, just me being from where I'm from, I don't get to experience too many. Where I'm from, it's a lot of people okay with being mediocre, and me being the person I am, I'm very ambitious. I'm very driven. So I needed something to push me. I needed a challenge, and when I came to Morehouse and I heard the students talk, and I heard my soon-to-be classmates, I seen the way they dressed, seen their way to walk, walk with confidence. I needed that in my life to be able to go to the next level and be successful and be the Black man that I want to be, to be that Dalen land that people look up to, or to go back home, say, oh, this man had changed, and it's already starting to happen.
Oh, that's wonderful. That gives me chills too, Dalen. I feel so good hearing that.
Oh, yes, ma'am, definitely.
I feel so good hearing that you had this ambition and you went and did this big thing. That's a big thing where you're from. Because think about how many people you have motivated by doing that. Just think about it. Just think about how many people. Like you said, you're from a place where a lot of people don't have big dreams. Makes me teary to think that you go back and all these people can think, well, this young man did that. He did that. I mean,
definitely.
That makes me very that's
yes, man. I understand. So me being from a place, I even have people today that want me to come back and come to elementary school, talk to the students.
Oh, I just love hearing it.
I haven't got there. I haven't got around to it yet. But I'm gonna make sure
You definitely do that. Just imagine how much what it would mean to somebody who doesn't have that necessarily yet instilled in him. That's a possibility, and then they make that connection. Oh, that just made me all emotional.
So I guess you could say, I'm a little hometown hero. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but
I love hearing it. Thank you. Michael, you have missed a lot of conversation. I don't know whether you wanted to chime in on this or anything that we've asked before that you were trying to say.
Sure. Well, I'll chime in on this. I think the question was, why Morehouse, right? And then I definitely want to just say or make the statement that Dalen Land, he's being very modest, but Dalen came on with a half tuition scholarship coming into Morehouse College. And then he worked his butt off as a football player in high school, where now Dalen actually received a athletic scholarship as well. And so he was able to get that paid for and receive external scholarship dollars to make it work for him. So don't let it fool you. That's an academic athlete. Okay, so I want you guys to know it's an academic athlete and academic first. But what I want to say is, why did I choose Morehouse? It was very simple for me. As a young man who was trying to learn the college and figure out who I am, I knew that I was special, or I was thankful because my older brother went to Morehouse. So I'm watching Jay Drake, class of 04, come in in the year 2000. I'm a high school student, and I'm asking him, why did you pick that school? You could have gone here. You could have gone, why Morehouse? And so he's like, man, you just got to see it. I'm like, okay. So I finally get a chance to see the campus. I finally get a chance to get up there. And I'll never forget, he takes me and he starts to show me all these guys. And I saw a sea of guys walking in with suit and ties. And I used to ask him, why do you dress up every day? Like, you got church to go to, or, you know, what are you doing? And he said, I'm preparing my mind for the next level. Fast forward, Jay graduated Morehouse College in 2004, graduated Princeton, got his doctorate from Emory University. Now he's a college professor, and he's doing amazingly well. He's a college professor at Florida State University. And so when I talk about leadership, and when you talk about it, I actually saw it vividly happen and throughout his whole life. And so I knew, I said, I want to be in a place like that. I want to, and he's 6 years older than me. So I knew, I said, you know, I have the skill set, I have the leadership potential. You know, he taught me soft skills, like how to tie a bow tie. At Morehouse, you don't get on clip-ons, you know, you shop at Brooks Brothers often, okay? These are just different ways, you know, instead of buying Jordans, you're buying Bostonians and Kohans because you're looking for that next opportunity. You know, you dress up because you understand you have places to go. You have internships to get involved in. And so that was a big element for me. I said, you know, I want to be surrounded by that kind of leadership. And I knew Morehouse could do that for me. And I didn't really think any other place. And the last piece I want to say is that, you know, I challenge students to wear the Morehouse sweatshirt. Why? Go somewhere and wear the Morehouse sweatshirt and watch what happens. Normally, someone's going to pull you to the side. They're going to ask you to come to the front. They're going to ask you to speak. They're going to tell you somebody they knew who graduated from the college. They're going to pull at you because they know that what comes with that sweatshirt is expectations. It's what comes with it. So I tell students all the time, you know, work hard, do what you need to do, and then come to Morehouse. And if you have a plan in place, you can definitely make it happen for you. And I'm part of the gatekeepers of that. So let me help you. Let me help you.
That is wonderful.
That's my part. And
That's wonderful.
I just thank this panel, man. I really do.
Every time, you know, I do any of these, it's always so interesting. I learned so much from this HBU series, but I was particularly curious about Morehouse because it is an all men's university. And what does that mean, especially now in 2021? What does it mean to go to an all-male university? Like, what does that mean? And it's just, you've just done a wonderful job of explaining to me what that special thing is. That
I can tell you, you know, by paper it says all-male, but you'll forget that you go to an all-male school. It's really interesting. Like, and David, am I right? Yeah. You know, you have Dalen, right? And Dalen, I know you know.
There are distractions. There are a lot of distractions.
Yeah. Right. That's it.
Dalen, I hope you ain't spend too much time over there at Spelman or
no, man, we gotta watch Dalen, David.
I spend a lot of my time in the library.
Okay. Right.
Well, I have the closing question. What 3 words would you use to describe your Morehouse experience? You can go in whatever order. Well, why don't we go left to right from I see I have David first, then I have Dalen, and then I have Michael. So what 3 words would you use to describe your Morehouse experience?
Okay. And I'm gonna not use the word brotherhood. I feel like we've done that a lot. So I would say fulfilling. What's the next word? Challenging, definitely challenging. Fulfilling, challenging. And lastly, I'll say transformative. I would not be the man who I am today without Morehouse College.
Good. Dalen, it's on you.
Okay. Let's see. I'll say, you said challenging, right, Mr. Howard? You already said that. Okay. So I say, Mr. Gunn, you want to go? You got yours, Mr. Gunn?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Go ahead.
I got you. We'll learn we always got our brothers back, so I got you. I would say my first word that I can literally like pinpoint would be intentional. Intentional. It was intentional. I would say my experience overall was moving. If I can get an adjective that's really going to try to get there, I would say moving. And then I would say exceptionalism to map that all the way out. Yeah, that's what I was surrounded by. It was moving, it was exceptional, and it was intentional.
Dalen, are you ready?
Okay. So I say eye-opening. I say, just for me, it has been a very fun experience, and I say, eye-opening, fun, and I can't come up with a third one. I want to say a third one, but you know, it's this literally my first semester being on campus, like first semester.
I know.
So it's challenging, but I give you those two. Those two right there.
That works. That works. And you know what's interesting? What's fun for me to hear is here's Dalen, 18 years old now. I get something like that.
19. Right? Let's turn 19.
Oh, happy birthday! 19 years old. And then you look at these men who've graduated and are working, and the difference in the words you choose, right? So right. Eye-opening, of course, right? He just got there. You just got there. Eye-opening and fun, right? And distractions. There are a lot of distractions. And then, so you're seeing somebody at the beginning of the journey. His eyes are being opened. It's fun. It was challenging, like you said, and then he does the, you know, like holding on to that last word, and then the other thing's fulfilling. It can't be fulfilling yet because he just started, right? So it's just transformative, intentional, moving, all of these things, and you can sort of see where you are now and where you might be when you're finished with this. And I'm just so proud of you. It's really exciting to see you make good like that. Really good. Anyway, thank you very, very much. So I'm going to hand this back to you, David, who's going to do the close for us. It was wonderful meeting you guys.
Thank you for the opportunity.
David's going to close up.
Okay. First off, I want to thank Michael and Dalen for joining us today. We really appreciated all your perspective and your candor. And Dalen, again, as a freshman from my illustrious alma mater, you know, I want to obviously offer any assistance I can and anything that I can help you with. That's what this is about. That's what the brotherhood is about. So, you know, I'll make sure that Michael sends you my contact information. I got a few people out there I'll make sure that I connect you with. And I want to thank Sujata and the Fairfax County chapter of the NAACP for partnering with us on this series. She's been an amazing help. And of course, I want to thank all of the people at the TJAAG Alumni Action Group who have just really been working behind the scenes to make this happen. As you see, Michael and Dalen, what we're trying to do here is continue the conversations of HBCUs, as well as making sure that people are aware of what makes HBCUs so amazing in the Northern Virginia area. So we thank you. Our next session that we're planning is for Virginia Union University on Tuesday, April 20th. So, you know, we want to make sure that we keep everybody aware of what we're doing, and we're excited to keep growing. Make sure that if you guys have any questions for Michael, he can be reached at michael.gum@morehouse.edu. That's gum, G-U-M-M. And Sujata can be found on Twitter at Sujata Hampton. That's spelled SUJATAHAMPTON. Again, we want to thank you all for just taking this time, and we hope that you all really enjoyed the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.